जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासदि गौर भक्तवृंद जय श्री। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा। जय राधा वृंदावन बिहारी राधा वृंदावन बिहारी राधे। जय श्री गौरंग श्री गौरंग श्री गौरंग जय श्री गौरंग जय जय प्रभुपाद 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 जय जय प्रभुपाद। जय श्री हरिनाम संकीर्तन की। श्री प्रभुपाद की। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। नारायणं नमस्कृत्यं नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरये। नष्टप्राये स्वभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवती उत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्ठके। कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय देवकीनन्दाय च नन्दगोपकुमाराय गोविन्दाय नमो नमः। Hare Krishna. So, welcome to morning Srimad Bhagavatam class. We are reading from Canto 7, Chapter 6, verse number 1. So, please repeat verse after me. Shri Prahlad Uvacha Komara Acharat Pradnyo Dharman Bhagavatan Yaha Durlabham Manusham Janma Tad Api Adhruvam Arthadam. Shri Prahlad Uvacha Komara Acharat Pradnyo Dharman Bhagavatan Iha Durlabham Manusham Janma Tad Api Adhruvam Arthadam. Shri Prahlad Uvacha Komara Acharat Pradnyo Dharman Bhagavatan Yaha Durlabham Manusham Janma Tadapi Adhruvam Arthadam. Shri Prahlad Uvacha Komaram Acharat Pradnyo Dharman Bhagavatan Durlabham Manusham Janma Tadapi Adhruvam Arthadam. Shri Prahlad Uvacha Komara Acharat Pradnyo Dharman Bhagavatan Yaha Durlabham Manusham Janma Tadapi Adhrumam Arthadam. Mataji. Shri Prahlad Uvacha Komara Acharat Pradnyo Dharman Bhagavatan Yaha Durlabham Manusham Janma Tadapi Adhrumam Arthadam. Shri Prahlad Uvacha Komara Acharat Pradnyo Dharman Bhagavatan Yaha Durlabham Manusham Janma Tadapi Adhruvam Arthadam. So, we'll read word to word meaning. Please repeat after me. Shri Prahlad Uvacha. Prahlad Maharaj said, Kaumaraha, in the tender age of childhood, Acharet should practice, Pradnyaha, one who is intelligent, Dharman, occupational duties, Bhagavatan, which are devotional service to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Iha, in this life, Durlabham, very rarely obtained. Manusham, human, Janma, birth, Tat, that, Api, even, Adhruvam, impermanent or temporary. Arthadam, full of meaning. So, reading translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Translation. Prahlad Maharaj said, one who is sufficiently intelligent should use the human form of body from very beginning of a life. In other words, from the tender age of childhood to practice the activities of devotional service, giving up all other engagements. The human body is most rarely achieved, and although temporary like other bodies, it is meaningful because in human life one can perform devotional service. Even a slight amount of sincere devotional service can give one complete perfection. Purport. The whole purpose of Vedic civilization and of reading the Vedas is to attain the perfect stage of devotional service in the human form of a life. According to the Vedic system, therefore, from the very beginning of a life, the brahmacharya system is introduced so that from one's very childhood, from the age of 5 years, one can practice modifying one's human activities so as to engage perfectly in devotional service. As confirmed in Bhagavad Gita, second chapter, 40th verse, Swalpamapyasya dharmasya trayate mahato bhayat. Even a little advancement on this path can protect one from the most dangerous type of fear. Modern civilization, not referring to the verdict of Vedic literature, is so cruel to the members of human society that instead of teaching children to become brahmacharis, it teaches mothers to kill their children even in the womb on the plea of curbing the increase of a population. And if by chance a child is saved, he is educated only for sense gratification. Gradually, throughout the entire world, human society is losing interest in the perfection of a life. Indeed, men are living like cats and dogs, spoiling the duration of their human lives by actually preparing to transmigrate again to the degraded species among the 84 million forms of a life. The Krishna consciousness movement is anxious to serve human society by teaching people to perform devotional service, which can save a human being from being degraded again to animal life. As already stated by Prahlad Maharaj, Bhagavad Dharma consists of Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam, Pada Sevanam, Archanam, Vandanam, Dasyam, Sakhyam, Atma Nivedanam. In all the schools, colleges, and universities, and at home, all children and youth should be taught to hear about the Supreme Personality of Godhead. In other words, they should be taught to hear the instructions of Bhagavad Gita to put them into practice in their lives, and thus to become strong in devotional service, free from fear of being degraded to animal life. Following Bhagavad Dharma has been made extremely easy in this age of Kali Yuga. The Shastra says, Hare Rama, Hare Rama eva kevalam, Kalo nasteva, 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 gatir anyatha. One need only chant the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Everyone engaged in the practice of chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra will be completely cleansed from the core of his heart and be saved from the cycle of birth and death. Om Ajnana Timirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshuron Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूप कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरोन् वैष्णवांश श्रीरूपं साग्रजातां सहगण रघुनाथान्वितां तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसरितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपदान् सहगण ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधु जगतपते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमस्ते तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभो नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा। So, first of all, I would like to seek blessings of all senior Vaishnavas, Prabhus, and Matajis, so that I can speak on Srimad Bhagavatam to purify myself. So, we are reading from Canto 7, Chapter 6, verse number 1. I will read translation once more. Prahlad Maharaj said, one who is sufficiently intelligent should use the human form of body from the very beginning of a life. In other words, from the tender age of a childhood, to practice the activities of devotional service, giving up all other engagements. The human body is most rarely achieved, and although temporary like other bodies, it is meaningful because in human life one can perform devotional service. Even a slight amount of service, sincere devotional service, can give one complete perfection. So, as we are hearing regularly Srimad Bhagavatam, which is Amala Puran, he himself is purified and can purify everyone. So all the 12 cantos which are very important and meant to purify everyone. So in that, the 10th canto is considered the most important because that's been considered as face of the Lord when we compare all 12 cantos with the body of the Lord. But with if we consider the tattva, because in 10 canto the pastimes of Lord are described vividly, that's important. But if you go with the tattva, this 7th canto is also very important because it describes about the devotee and his attachment to the Lord and Lord's protection for his devotees, and finally, how one can achieve Supreme Personality of Godhead. And then whole Varnashram system is also described very detailed in further chapters. So in that sense, this chapter, 7th cantos, this canto 7th is very important. And in that again, this 6th chapter, which is entitled as Prahlad Maharaja's instructions, is considered again the most important. So as we saw the episode that, so Prahlad Maharaj, whenever there was a free time or lunch time or break time, he used to gather his schoolmates. Practically not he used to gather. He was so attractive and he was so like filled with the qualities. Like all others will come and ask him, please come and instruct us. So that is how what happens even in the schools when a child is very bright and very studious and very friendly. All others want to make friendship with him. And they themselves come when you're free time. Can you tell me this? Can you help me for this? So, like that, Prahlad Maharaj was having such a wonderful qualities that all his friends got attracted to him. And they themselves used to ask him, please come and instruct us. And Prahlad Maharaj is a great preacher also. So, as it is said, that strike the iron when it is hot. So, he knows this is the right time. I can give the best of the things to these children. Although they are the asuras, including me, but now they are very receptive to get Krishna consciousness. So, this is the most important verse which we recited today about the goal of a human life. So, as you see from the Shastras, so human life has six stages. That is, first is we take a birth, Janma, then Vriddhi, then we grow slowly, then comes Sthiti, that our growth is stagnated and we remain stable for some time. And then we produce progenies byproduct. And then slowly we start dwindling, diminishing, and finally death comes. So these are the six stages everyone goes through normally. There could be exceptions. जैसे बचपन में हम सुनते थे एक बूढ़ी थी बचपन में मर गई. So if someone dies at certain age, so he may not go through all these stages, but it's a normal trend that one goes through these stages in a human life. In that also, it is said that the Komar, different stages as per the age are also divided, that from birth to age of 5, that is considered as a Komar age. And then from 5 to or 6 to 10, that is considered as a Pauganda. So that stage, that age is considered as a Pauganda. And then from 11 to 15, that is considered as Kishore or Keshore. And from 16 onward, that is Yavana, Yuva Avastha or Tarun Avastha later. So here, Prahlad Maharaj is telling that one should practice devotional service from Kaumara. That means in early age of 0 to 5. At least at 5, one should start it. So, and he's saying that Kaumar Acharat Pradnyo. The word Pradnya is said, or that means that a real intelligence. So, Pradnya or Pradnya, that means intelligence. So, what is real intelligence? So, one time, one teacher asked a student when he was admitted on first day. So, that was a girl, and he asked, what's goal of your life? So, she very honestly said, I want to become happy. So, teacher thought she must have understood question wrongly. So, he said, so you have understood question wrongly. She said, no, you have understood life wrongly. So, because ultimately, goal of a life is to become happy. As a devotee, we may say further to practice devotional service and become happy. But even in the devotional service, there will be sufferings, there will be pain, but finally we want to become happy. So that's the goal of life. So intelligence means, as we say in the Shastras, that athato brahma jigyasa. What is pragya? The real pragya means one who has this athato brahma jigyasa. 3 questions. That who am I? Why I am suffering in this material world? And how I can come out of this material world and become eternally happy. So if these 3 questions are asked, then Athato Brahma Jigyasa, that is considered as real Jigyasa, or that is considered as real Pragya. So that is how the intelligence should be. One should use our intelligence to understand the goal of life and practice that. Sometimes people, they don't understand and utilize their intelligence, as there is one Sanskrit saying that Yasya nashasti swayam pragya shastram tasya karote kim lochanabhyam विनीतस्य darpanam kim karishyati. So this Sanskrit Subhashit says that कि यस्य नाश्यस्ते स्वयं प्रज्ञा शास्त्रम तस्य करोते किम. If someone is not having, किसी को अगर बुद्धि ही नहीं है, so शास्त्रम तस्य करोते किम, तो what can shastras do? In a similar way, if someone does not have eyes only, if you put a darpana, mirror in front of you, so what can mirror do? If you, even if you clean it, but you don't have eyes only, so mirror can't do anything. So in a similar way, if you don't have intelligence only, then although there are so many shastras, but what's the use of that? Because you need to have a pragya, the intelligence. In fact, the real intelligence to understand shastras and practice it. So therefore, so Prahlad Maharaj is telling that Durlabham Manusha Janma, before that, ki one should have a pragya, the intelligence, and he should utilize that intelligence to practice devotional service. That is Dharman Bhagavatan Iha. So, from the tender age of 5, one should start practicing devotional service, or one should start practicing Bhagavad Dharma. And in purport, Srila Prabhupada is also writing what is the Bhagavad Dharma. Very clearly, he mentions that Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam, Padasevanam, Archanam, Vandanam, Dasyam, Sakhyam, Atmanivedanam. So one should practice Navada Bhakti from the age of 5 only. And also in Srimad Bhagavatam, first canto also, we understand Savaipam Saparo Dharma, Yatho Bhakti Radokshache, Ahetuki Apratiheta, Yatma So Prasaditi. That paradharma of human being is to practice ahetuki apratihata bhakti. So practicing devotional service is the goal of a life, and these are the now 9 processes by which we can practice devotional service. So to practice devotional service, one has to understand it very thoroughly, and Srila Prabhupada here writes, one should chant Hare Krishna regularly, and one should engage in practicing Krishna conscious activities all the time. So basically, Prabhupada is trying to give importance to regular chanting of Hare Krishna and practices Krishna consciousness activities. And that can be achieved by a proper training. And he's trying to imbibe very important point here in the purport that this human form life is so rare. As verse also says, Durlabham Manusham Janma. That it's so rare, as we see from the Srimad Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita, and many Durlabham Manusham Janma. From Bhagavad Gita, Manushanam Sahastreshu Kashchidati Siddhe Yatadam Api Siddhanam Kashyanmam Vetti Tatvataha. That in thousands, someone tries to become Siddha. One who becomes Siddha, in that someone understands the Lord as a Tattva, as a Supreme Personality of Godhead, and such soul is very rare. So that's how the rarity of understanding the real goal of a life, or getting this human form of a life. And again, we hear in 7th chapter also of Bhagavad Gita that Bahunam Janmanam Ante Jnanavan Mam Prapadante Vasudeva Sarvamiti Sa Mahatma Swadurlabha. Where after many, many births, Bahunam Janmanam Ante Jnanavan, getting knowledge of spirituality, one finally understand Vasudeva, Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the son of Vasudeva. And such a Mahatma is a Sudurlabha. Such a Mahatma is very rare. So that is how the Manusya Janma is very rare, and in that to become a devotee is again very rare. That's the how the human life is rare, and to get an opportunity to practice a devotional service is very rare, which is also mentioned even in Chaitanya Charitamrita, that Brahmande Brahmite Kona Bhagyavana Jeev Guru Krishna Prasade Paye Bhakti Lata Bij. So that is how we can understand this human form of life is so rare, and in that to get spirituality, to practice devotional service is so rare. So one should not miss this opportunity and always engage oneself to practice devotional service. So herein we can understand and although we understand it's very important to practice devotional service, then what's the problem? Why we are not able to do? The reason is because of our anarthas, one important thing. But another and very most important reason what Prabhupada always used to give is lack of training. So further is offenses, all other things are like, further. But in initial stage, the most important thing which is lacking, that is training. And Prabhupada quotes so many in letters, in purports of Srimad Bhagavatam, very stresses upon training the children, training the youths, training the Matajis, training the Brahmacharis, training the Brahmanas, training the Grastas, training the GBCs. So he has given so many quotes and so many quotations in Bhagavatam purport also about how training is important, because we have understood the value of a human life, but then to practice it, you need a training. And that's the most important aspect which we are missing, or many people outside they are missing. And that's why, as a mentor, or as a preachers, or as a counselors, or as a parents, one has to focus and learn to train the children, learn to train the dependents upon us, so that they can come to Krishna consciousness and finally achieve the pure devotional service and perfect their human form of a life. So as Prabhupada mentioned in many ways, that the whole purpose of ISKCON society is to train the Brahmanas. So he has mentioned many a times that purpose of founding this society is to train the Brahmanas so that they can guide the society. So that purpose was very clearly been mentioned by Srila Prabhupada in many places. Therefore, since Prahlad Maharaj is telling here about like one should train or get to know about Krishna consciousness at Kaumara age, at early age of 0 to 5 at Balya Avastha. So I'll be speaking few principles. It's not exactly all details, but a few principles as a preacher or a counselor or a parent, how to train the children or how to take them to Krishna consciousness seriously, and how can they become a proper devotees. Many a times when we deal with the children, और when I go to preaching, children come, प्रभु जी कुछ सुनता ही नहीं है, तो जैसे हम उसको फिर बोलते हैं ठीक है, आता है धीरे धीरे उसको, as he comes to regular satsanga association of devotees, he comes to the temple, then he comes to the Sunday feast and then festivals, and then he comes and starts serving. उसके बाद पेरेंट्स को एंजाइटी आता है, ये बहुत ज्यादा मंदिर में जा रहा है. तो इनिशियली देखा हम कि कुछ सुनता ही नहीं है ना, ही चेंजिंग, तो पेरेंट्स भी बदल जाते हैं कि ये बहुत ज्यादा पढ़ाई भी नहीं करता है, घर का सेवा नहीं कर रहा है ज्यादा, लेकिन मंदिर में जाता है, माला करते रहता है, बुक पढ़ते रहता है, इसको समझाओ कि पढ़ाई भी कर, तो ठीक है. कम से कम कुछ तो बच्चे ऐसे, कुछ तो पेरेंट्स ऐसे हैं कि जैसे जैसे वो भक्ति में सीरियस हो रहा है, तो बच्चे को ही बोल देते हैं, ए वो प्रभु जी के साथ पे ज्यादा नहीं रहने का, नहीं तो तू बेटा ब्रह्मचारी बन जाएगा, या तू उधर ही चला जाएगा, तेरा करियर का कौन देखेगा, या केवल भगवान का नाम जपने से थोड़ा ही तेरा पेट भरने वाला है, पढ़ाई कर, ये कर, वो कर. So when problem comes, they approach, but when solution is there, then they again deny. So many times parents themselves are in confusion what to do. So therefore, there are certain principles which are very important while dealing with the children or training the children or the community or anyone. So we'll just try to see few of the principles, and if there are some questions, we can have questions after the class. I wanted, but this topic I thought I should give justice to verse, because very important verse. Should I speak on Bhakti? Yeah. So initially, all our villages had joint family culture, and because there were many people in the house, it was very easy to train a child. because he used to learn many things from many people, and he has access to so many senior people, middle people, then younger, elder boys, girls, and everyone. So he used to see whole generations together. And that's how he could get many things from all generations. Nowadays, because families have become like so short and small, like he doesn't have any access. And to the access, what access he has is on TV, mobile, about family life, where all nonsense things are being given. So it is said that to train a child, it requires a whole village. Or to cultivate a one nice child, it requires whole village, because he sees all the aspects of village, the environment, the society, the human beings, different natures, and he grasps many things from many people, and then that is how he slowly cultivate his life and culture. And slowly, when he comes and grasps many things and concludes some things and practices, and then that is how he become perfect. So there are 4 to 5 important aspects which we have to take care of while training the uh, children, as Prabhupada also mentioned in purport of Srimad Bhagavatam 5th canto, where instructions are Prishabdev for his children, sons, where Prabhupada writes that parents should not allow the child to get spoiled. They should help them to become perfectly Krishna consciousness and not to take birth again. So that's the responsibility of a parents, to train him so nicely so that he should not take a birth again in this material life. So for that, there are 4 important principles which we can give all the time. The first and foremost important thing, even if he is a child, we should try to give him Krishna conscious principles. The philosophy is very important, because that's the age where he can grasp the verses, he can sit and hear Bhagavatam, he can be taken to the festivals and allowed to hear the festival classes. So when the philosophies go slowly, that's the age, he may not understand everything, but he can hear it and at least grasp it now. Slowly he will start analyzing as age grows. But that hearing process of Krishna consciousness philosophy at early age, that's very important. Then second aspect is we should nourish him with Krishna conscious culture. So in education, there is a model which is called as MMOT model, that when we want to give a culture to the child, we should follow this MMOT model, that modeling, mentoring, teaching, and modeling, mentoring, organizing, and teaching. So many times we want to teach a child just by instructions, but it's very difficult for a child when you just keep on instructing. It's very difficult. He does not listen all the time. That's why, like one devotee was telling that he was there on Sunday feast in Johor temple, and one parent came with the child. He asked the child to offer obeisances to the Srila Prabhupada, and child was not offering. Then he saw other devotees are looking, so he raised his voice and asked, "You offered the obeisances to Srila Prabhupada." The child still did not. Then father felt, now everyone is looking after me. It's insult to me. He was raising again his voice and asking, "You, I ask you to offer the obeisances." But still child does not follow. And then one devotee he understood. So what he did, he offered his obeisances, and he also had his small kid with him. The child went back like just behind him. The father was already in the like prostrated form, and his child slept on him, and he also offered obeisances. Although it's like not activity, he is knowingly offering the obeisances, but he just imitated his father and slept behind him, back of him. And in that process, he offered the obeisances. And then first father understood. I'm just telling him to offer, but I myself has not offered. So how can my child follow that? So just instruction will not work. Just what you speak, they won't follow. What you do, they follow. So that's very important, that while training children, this MMOT model, that first modeling, we should instruct what we are following. So what we are doing, they will automatically do. So modeling is very important. That's why in Marathi also there is saying that Bole taisa chale tachi bandavi pavale. So what you speak, if you walk, then people will follow you. So in that way, if we speak what we are doing, then children will follow very naturally. So that's very important aspect. Then second is mentoring. That many times when you instruct they don't follow, then we get irritated, or we have a lot of expectation that child should behave like this, child should behave like that, and he does not follow. Although we are following, he does not follow. Then we should mentor, that try to give philosophical convictions, and with a proper purpose try to tell him the importance of doing that. Because if he become impatient, then everything is waste. So we have to be patiently instruct him properly, and we follow ahetuki path and apratihata path. If he does not follow, still we have to continue without any ulterior motive, just continue practicing and inspire him and maintain for a long time. Slowly he will come to the platform that he will try to imitate out you and follow your instructions. Then third is organizing. So create an environment where they easily can practice Krishna consciousness. So one is instruction or just modeling, you are following it and you are practicing it patiently so that he will get inspired with whatever behavior, whatever culture you are having, and try to create a favorable culture for himself also. जैसे अभी रात को आप you are expecting he should get up for Mangal Aarti, but you yourself is like allowing him to watch movies for a night. So that's not a favorable culture. So we have to create a culture where he can practice Krishna consciousness. The chutti hai, so you have an opportunity to take him to the temple, to the festival, to the deities. But instead, if you prefer, yeah, if child himself chooses, he wants some other places, that's also fine, because every time you cannot force him, na, mandir mein jana hai Sunday, no. But if there is a facility and if he is happy, so get him to the temple, give that favorable environment of a temple, that experience in the temple. And even in the home, create the facilities so that he can easily practice Krishna consciousness. Then fourth is teaching. So teaching is just not instruction. Again, as I mentioned, there could be various ways of teaching. Instruction is one of the way to teach, but there are many other ways to teach. We can train a child by telling nice stories. So I heard one of His Holiness Bhakti Rasamrit Maharaj's class recently he gave in Vrindavan Gurukul. And he just gave 3-4 stories from the Shastras about greed. And after the class, the children started like clapping for 2, 3, 4 minutes continuously. And the principal ma'am came in the mic and she said, Ki last so many years we are struggling to inspire children. But first time we understood where were we wrong. That we were just instructing. They doesn't understand the meaning of that instruction. And we also don't know what is the result of just giving instructions. Now we understood how to train the children. Stories are so nice to just give them a story and give the lesson. It will take some time, but slowly they will follow because the story is there in. And when they see the example, then they will connect and they will follow the instructions given. So there is a way of telling stories. There is also another way of instructing or teaching is by songs. Now it doesn't happen. You can sing few songs which has some meaning, and by that लोरी सुनाते गाँव में या बहुत सारा old movies है मराठी में जिसमें nice songs are sung and children are instructed so nicely. And another is experience sharing, अनुभव. But experience we have to be very careful. Children, when you share your experience, हमारे time में ऐसा था, तो बच्चे पक जाते हैं. तो so the experience should be little relevant to the present generation. तो बहुत सारा चीज ऐसा बोलते रहते कि हमारे समय में ऐसा, तो बोले तुम्हारा था हमको क्यों बता रहे हो बार. या मम्मी पापा बहुत बार करते, हम जब थे ना टीचर जब आता तो चुपचाप बैठते थे, डर जाते थे, तो तुम लोग तो कुछ सुनते नहीं टीचर का, बोला जनरेशन चेंज हो गया। तो सो डू नॉट टेल irrelevant experiences, समथिंग which is relevant to them, that should be shared, not irrelevant thing. So experience sharing also a very good way to instruct and teach the children. So the second part, nourishing the children with this four MMOT model: modeling, mentoring, organizing, and teaching. Then third, which is a very important aspect, that is protect them from many doubts in a life. So when children come to the Bhagavatam class, they when they hear some philosophy from sun, जैसे कृष्ण भगवान जो है जब मथुरा में जा रहे थे और उस धोबी को उन्होंने मार दिया बिकॉज उसने कपड़ा नहीं दिया, तो बच्चे एकदम से अरे ये क्या है, भगवान है और मार दिया सीधा, तो डाउट आता है मन में, और एक धोबी को मारने की क्या जरूरत है उनको। या कभी एक पेरेंट्स बोल रहे थे कि एक बार मैं बच्चों को मेरे समझा रहा था कि बेटा तेरा भाग्य है, हमारा तो 22 साल का उम्र था तब तक हमें हरे कृष्ण पता ही नहीं था, तुम अभी से प्रसाद मिल रहा है सब मिल रहा है, तो बोल रहा है पापा अपने 22 साल से भक्ति चुकी हो?" बोला, हाँ तो मैं भी 22 साल को ही करूंगा। तो हियर द क्वेश्चन, अभी उसको लग रहा है अभी मैं आप मेरे को बोल रहे हैं लेकिन आपने 22 साल को किया तो मैं भी 22 साल को करूंगा। सो ही हैज ऑल राइट्स टू आस्क द क्वेश्चन, सो वी शुड डील लाइक whatever doubts he has, then we have to clarify it. If he has some confusion about philosophy, some confusion about culture, some confusion about any practice of devotional service, that we have to clarify. So doubt clearing, we have to protect his philosophical convictions which are good, and whatever doubts, we have to clarify them. Another is deviation in protection. So many children, they have some good habits in one sense because they are in mode of goodness. They have a habit of reading, but then slowly they start reading novels and then it shifts to the many nonsense things, and they keep on reading, which is a good habit, but that creates like instead of reading Shastra, chanting the holy name or practicing devotional service, they divert. I'm talking about now devotee kids. Outside people, if they have this habit of reading is good. If they can be converted to devotee slowly, but if already devotee and has a he's shifting towards like such kind of deviation of reading nonsense things slowly. So that has to be restricted. So we have to protect them from this kind of deviations and train him to read shastras and hear from the devotees. And there could be distractions. Nowadays, there are so many distractions available, mobile and TV, so many friends which that take you to many nonsense things. So we have to protect our children from these distractions. When they start reading messages, WhatsApp, like I also have to plan many times to remove the groups from my WhatsApp. Because so many people keeps on adding, we don't know who are they, but just keep on adding. So if you go in a day, more than 500 messages come. So now we are going to read them, and many times we are going to miss important messages also because of so many messages. So many distractions. We have to protect our children from distracting from their goal. Then fourth, which is again very important aspect, we have to equip them with Krishna conscious habits, skills, and good qualities. So that's important aspect for training a children, that they should be trained properly to have a good habits, and that's our responsibility. And with that, they should also have a skills. Even little material skills are also important, because if child is not able to read, even Prabhupada, when he was like in Dalla school, he one Mataji asked question to Srila Prabhupada. Prabhupada, girls are very happy when they do the dressing to the deities. Prabhupada said, that's okay, but they should study also in a school. They can do that part after the school. So devotional aspects such like if I like dressing, I like kirtan, that's fine. But the other material skills which are like basic reading, because you need to study the Shastras, you need to preach in the future. So in a training part, we have to be imbibe them with the material skills also, which are important for practicing devotional service, like reading. They can be, even if they are good sportsmen, they can be given facility so that they can practice and develop their skill sets. So whatever skills they have, that can be developed properly, and they can be dovetailed in Krishna consciousness. So we have to equip them with good habits, good skills, and good qualities, which will help them in the future practicing Krishna consciousness. And the last, which is most important, that we should learn to engage them in Krishna conscious activities, because that's the most important aspect where parents are lacking, or they don't spend time to engage the children, saying that it's time for me doing 16 round japa, and I have a rule that I will sit and chant 16 rounds. So if they don't bother about kids, then it's very difficult thing, because kids observe that she, a mother, a father, anyone, just sitting and chanting and not paying any attention to me. So that's a very bad example for a children, that not paying attention to them. So parents should learn to engage children. That one devotee he was telling, like one Mataji, she decided, I will complete my 16 rounds. I have a lot of things to do in the day. So what should I do? Because I have kids and the husband is out of station. So what she did, she had two sweets with her, and she showed to the child and asked her, if you count how many Krishna names or deities or Vishnu things available in a house, go and count and come back. So the daughter went, it took like 35 minutes for her to, she practically went, saw, here is a Krishna, here is a Narayan. So many photos, like old traditional houses, there are a lot of deities photos or deities also available. So she went on counting. Somewhere in books, there is like again Hare Krishna written. So she started searching. So she counted and came with like 40 number. And mother was so happy. So she got 35 minutes to chant peacefully. And daughter also became 35 minutes completely Krishna consciousness. She got one sweet. And then mother again said, you can count now Radha. And she went back, and now she knows wherever Krishna, Radha is there, and again few more places she started searching. So it took more time for her again. And in meantime, the mother completed her chanting. So the daughter was also Krishna conscious for all like 1 hour or more than that, and mother could also complete her chanting. So this way we have to learn to engage our children to practice Krishna consciousness activities, and that way they can be peacefully, happily practice Krishna consciousness. So these are the only principles which are given in the various scriptures and Srila Prabhupada's instructions given to many of his disciples, and they have mentioned this book small, compiled by all the devotees, that is Art of Teaching, where they have compiled all these teaching methodologies, training the children, and all the steps are given in that small book. So with this, like, it's such an important thing to train our children, train our dependent. For that we have to be responsible, take this responsibility, so that all the jivas, they can perfect their human form of life and come to Krishna consciousness. Hare Krishna. So it's exactly 9 o'clock. So considering no questions, we will end here. Granthra Srimad Bhagavatam ki, Srila Prabhupada ki. So today is also disappearance day of Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur and Gadadhar Pandit. So we can attend the festival at 11:30 in Radha Vrindavan Bihari Temple. Hare Krishna. हमारा आचरण पड़ गया ना डायरेक्ट वर्ड से पेरेंटिंग है तो मैम पेरेंटिंग मदन मोहन